Hey y'all, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Jalen Ngonda's new album, Doctrine of Love. Jalen Ngonda is a musician from Maryland who makes Motown-inspired soul with a lot of influences from blues and gospel music. He began releasing singles and an EP in the late 2010s and continued into this decade releasing his debut album, Come Around and Love Me, in 2023. Being a singer and a multi-instrumentalist, he'll typically play a variety of instruments during live shows, and he also uses a live backing band when recording his albums. After releasing his debut album, he received praise from some pretty big names, including Snoop Dogg, Kalani, and even Elton John. This new album is his second album, and it's a pretty short one with 10 tracks and a runtime of about half an hour. The album cover is simple yet effective because it really looks how you would expect a 60s soul album to look, so the album cover really matches the sound. It's a yellow, orange, and darker yellow background with him standing just left of center. He's in black and white, but his sweater vest sort of like is part of the background. It looks like when you're standing in front of a green screen and wearing a green shirt, it registers your shirt as part of the screen and projects the background onto it. But anyway, getting into the actual tracks, we have the opening track, Anyone in Love. This is a melancholic track about the potential of heartbreak where, quote, anyone in love knows that hearts break in two. This can happen to you. It's mellow and slow, cinematic and ornate. It has lush, floating, and sort of dreamy instrumentation. And it sounds warm and melodic and very soothing, which kind of contrasts with the lyrics. Next is the title track, Doctrine of Love. This track feels like him sending out a powerful declaration of love. It has a slightly darker sound, but is more immersive than the opening track, with this throbbing bass and swinging horns, and it even incorporates a church bell. Next up is one of my favorite tracks on the album, Mr. Train Conductor. It's an ethereal track with a funky guitar where he's pleading with the train conductor to get him back to his love. It reminds me a lot of Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes. Not so much in how it sounds, but more so in how both tracks had this idea where the narrator's relying on just a person doing their job to get them connected to their partner again. And this track probably has one of the most soulful choruses on the whole album. After that is Burning Temptation, which is a vibrant and lively track. It's really one of the more energetic songs on the entire album. It's emotive with fairly groovy instrumentals, but Jalen Ngonda has an incredible voice and he delivers such a passionate vocal performance on this whole album, but it's really personified on this track. I mean, he really gives it his all on this track. He also hits these high, like, oohs that sound a lot like Little Richard. Next is the track Love Is Gone. This is a slow, mellow, and serene track. It's atmospheric and the delicate instrumentals work really well with his velvety falsetto voice. And I can't help but notice how similar he sounds to Michael Jackson on this track. And it's not so much that I think he's trying to emulate and sound like Michael Jackson, but really I think it's just this track that I realized how similar his voice sounds to Michael Jackson's. Next, we kick off the second half of the album with probably my favorite track, I Can't Ever Leave You. This track incorporates Chicago blues, and he blends it seamlessly with the vintage soul sound that he's become known for. And based on what we've heard on this album so far, you'd think maybe his voice is a little too high to pull off the blues sound when you first hear it, but he really is able to add just the right amount of raspiness to his voice to really make it work. Next is the track Hannah, What's the Matter? This track is driving and rhythmic with a brooding tone that helps create tension, which supports the lyrics because he's trying to figure out where he went wrong in his relationship, but he can't quite figure it out because from his perspective, everything's been going well. Which brings us to the next track, Good Good Love. This is a slow and tender love song with a very powerful chorus. It's melodic and relaxing, and this track is a great mix of gospel singing with piano-centric blues instrumentals. After that, we have the track Hang It on the Shelf. This is a very suave track with a rich chorus. This is another gospel-inspired track like the previous one, but it's more upbeat sounding with more percussive and string-heavy instrumentals. And I gotta say again, I cannot get over this guy's voice, and this track perfectly displays why. He has a smooth and high voice when singing the verses, but is very calm. But then he has much more raspiness and more power behind his voice when singing the chorus, and the passion is undeniable. And finally, we have the last track on the album, Taken Out of the Picture. This is a somber track about heartbreak and the realizations that come with the hindsight of being able to look back and see all the mistakes that were made along the way. It does sort of give the album a sad ending, but I think it's pretty cool how the album began with a song about sort of potential heartbreak, about how anyone in love can experience heartbreak at any time. And then the final track is about actual realized heartbreak and having to deal with all the emotions that come with that. But I think this is a great album. It's concise, but it really sticks to the theme of love and heartbreak. Jalen Ngonda has an amazing voice that's very falsetto and angelic, but he can also add just the right amount of roughness and raspiness to it when he needs. This album, I think, effectively blends gospel and blues with that 60s Motown-inspired soul. And again, I love the structure of this album where we begin with a song that's about the potential of heartbreak, like the possibility that a relationship can end at any time. Then we get a variety of love songs and songs that seem like they're about a relationship that's on the rocks and might not last. And then the final track being about actual heartbreak. And it just makes the whole album feel like going through like the last stages of a dying romance. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the album. I definitely recommend you go check it out. Even if you're not a big fan of soul, there's plenty on there for you to enjoy, like his voice, the instrumentation, there's a lot of cool guitar playing, and it's also just a really concise and coherent album. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.